Hey, everybody. Kevin here with Pursuing Pixels, and I'm going to be joined with Randall here in just a minute for another edition of Save It for the Cast. But we spent about 2 hours before we got recording last week's episode just catching up and shooting the shit, and we ended up talking about a bunch of other games, so I'm going to pluck from some of those conversations, and we'll get to those in just a minute. But I did want to give a quick shout-out. I think last week was the first week, if not first, maybe the second, but we just got some new artwork done, if you haven't noticed, for all of our, social media stuff, but also for the podcast that our pal HIS or his all caps. It used to be, we've talked about some of their games on the podcast before. Human is Red is what they used to go by. We talked about their game Underneath that they made with Cultisti. And I actually wanted to give not only a shout out to our new artwork that they did, because they just do some killer pixel art, whether for, still images and a commission like we did here, or for their games like in Underneath. And yeah, just a huge fan of their stuff. And then he and I actually sunk up, or is sunk a word? I don't know. In that regard, synced up. I'm not sure. But anyways, we ended up playing some Samurai Gunn 2 the other day. And he's all the way over in Russia. So we had to account for an 8-hour time difference. I was playing at 10 in the morning. And it was about 6 over there, obviously. I don't need to do the time change for you. But we ended up playing for a good chunk of time. And it was so much fun. I've only put a little bit of time into that game. And if you're unfamiliar with Samurai Gunn, and in particular Samurai Gunn 2, which is just kind of a souped up version of the original game, there's just tons of different characters, and it's kind of like a single screen arcade brawler that just has really slight nuances. Think Super Smash Brothers, but with a totally different set of mechanics. You basically, every character has a dash, a set of bullets that you can shoot, that you have your bullets and dash are the same, use the same resource or ammo, if you will. So every character, barring a couple exceptions, has 3 of each of those. But then the character I was playing as only has 2, but you can you throw kunais instead of shooting bullets, and then but those will stick in the wall, and I can go grab those. So even though I only have 2, I can go recollect mine and throw them over and over again. But you have to it's a best of 10 kind of situation. I don't know if it was 10, but you get, it's not just a best of 3. So you get the levels, and this game's still in early access, by the way. I'm just rambling here, but it's just really tight, super tight controls. All the characters feel at first I didn't even think they were all that different. I was oh, cool, they're just different designs. They even have the character from Spelunky. They have the character from Minute. I don't know if they're planning on adding more from other indie games, but otherwise it's all stuff from its own universe. But it just has this wonderful sense of style, and on top of being a wonderful multiplayer game, which I would love to play. I think it's up to 4 players. We were just doing a duel, a one-on-one, and it was awesome. Our round ended, we were just about to say, hey, this is our, or actually we did say this is our last battle here, and we actually got desynced as we killed each other at the exact same time. And again, the game is in early access, so I think they're still working on that. We did have a little bit of connectivity issues, but I think that's just the nature, and my computer just sometimes can't hang in all reality. But it was just a ton of fun gaming with them, and I gotta admit, I did kind of mop the floor with him a little bit. Not at the start, but after they showed me some of the secret techniques and the maneuvers and whatnot, I was pulling out some victories with Slug, who might have to be my go-to character, who can kind of climb on the walls and stick to the ceiling and stuff. So it's there's those little nuances that I almost didn't even notice until they mentioned oh yeah, if you double tap against the wall, you'll stick to it. So that's been a ton of fun. And yeah, I did want to give a shout out. I think I started saying it, but it's got a really cool single player campaign that really is engaging. It's just really fun. It's not strictly a multiplayer game, so I really, really recommend that. And then I just wanted to give another shout out to, we've talked about this ad nauseum, but probably a long time ago. So it's been a while since we've mentioned Kingdom on the podcast, or at least given it a good shout out. But DJ came over the other day and we were playing some Kingdom, and I don't know when he's going to be able to be on the podcast again, so I'm just going to give it a quick shout without him, because this is a 2D side-scrolling tower defense game with just stunning, gorgeous pixel art. And I think they're actually have a new DLC, a free DLC that's coming out soon. They've done 3 different, there's Kingdom New Lands, which was the first game, and then you have Kingdom 2 Crowns, which was kind of the sequel of sorts, but added co-op, added more an expansion, but kind of its own game, and it's kind of more of a campaign than a roguelike. as opposed to the first game. But anyways, I'm again getting sidetracked a little bit, but DJ and I immediately were just like, God, this game is like, I'm trying to get away from saying it's in my top 10, but it's like a top 10% game. Like I really, really love this game. It's got such a great, like relaxing feel. I don't know. I'm really I've been really enjoying the games that like lately that like have a lot of like, I don't know, like Metavax I kind of talked about a couple weeks ago. It's like it gets intense and like, but you can kind of take your time with it, and like that turns into a little bit of a bullet hell shooter at times. So it gets a little more frantic than this, but like you can just kind of like, although Kingdom can certainly get overwhelming as well, but like you just feel like I don't know, you can just kind of like lounge on the couch. It's like the perfect game to like just play and like sip on your coffee and kind of start your day off. It's been kind of like ever since DJ and I played the other night, I started up a brand new campaign on the Dead Lands, which is the Bloodstained crossover DLC. And then the new DLC that's going to be coming soon is called Norse Lands. And it appears to be some kind of Bad North crossover. I mean, it could just be a generic looking like Viking Norse-esque font or whatever that they use, but it really looks reminiscent of Bad North, which is another game that we've raved about on the podcast before, probably right around the same time. I feel like DJ and I were hooked on both those games, and both really great, like kind of strategy roguelikes, but they're like, this is very strategy light, very tower defense light, but at the same time, you really have to like learn the ropes. And the best part about Kingdom is like, as you play the game, and even DJ and I were like refamiliarizing ourselves and like, oh yeah, that's what that does. Cause there's really almost no UI, no font in the game, or not no font, no text, but there's text every once in a while in the tutorial and whatnot. But otherwise you're kind of like, especially when you're first playing the game, you're kind of like learning the ropes as you go and trying, what does this mound do and you just, it's all one currency. I guess there's two currencies. You get the gems on top of the coins and 2 crowns. So yeah, they've added some new things, and I'm just really excited to see what happens with Norse Lands. I'm sure DJ and I'll maybe dig into that once that comes out. But just a game that just for whatever reason, they keep adding free DLC to, and I don't really understand how that's worthwhile for them to just keep adding free stuff to a game that's been out for quite a while now. But I will certainly take it because like I love everything about this game. And then if you add some new aesthetics and new vibes to the mix, and like with Bloodstained, with this Dead Lands DLC, like you get to play as the 4 characters from Bloodstained, at least from Curse of the Moon. And they all have different abilities, different perks, whereas in the original game, only like the different horses and different mounts that you can ride would have different abilities. So you can kind of double down in Dead Lands and really kind of, I don't know, just you can really kind of play the game a little bit differently. It's really cool, or at least gives just a different vibe, different setting, and the music, the pixel art. I just can't rave enough about this game, but I am going to stop raving here, and I've been rambling long enough here for the intro of this episode, so why don't Randall and I dig into some more video game chat and some random banter, and we will catch you next week. Speaking of games, did you get a chance to play any of those Steam games?
I did. Yeah,
Heck
I played.
Yeah.
I played a little bit of Void Runner, and I played 18 stages of the first level of 2D and Top D.
Okay, so you pretty much got it. I beat the boss of that first area,
Nice.
but that's as far as I got.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm doing this during work, and these puzzle levels are getting just too complex.
They're hard. They're fucking hard, man.
Like, I gotta tap out for right now.
You gotta like focus.
Yeah.
You gotta be like, how do I do this level? It's not just platform through it and whatever. Yeah.
No, you can't brute force it. You have to be like leaning into it.
Yeah, you got to be like, I'm playing 2D and Top D right now. I'm not like listening to a podcast,
which is
doing
good.
Something else. Yeah, it's
fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's nice, but yeah, it started kicking my ass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Level 1.
Oh yeah, for
World
real.
1.
Heck yeah, though. I'm glad number one that it worked and that you got in there.
Yeah. Yep. Just hooked up the old creaky wired Xbox 360 controller. Was able to sign in to the Pursuing Pixels account on Steam and went into offline mode. It did ask me for the code, but thankfully I was still logged in to the Pursuing Pixels Gmail on my iMac.
Nice.
So
Nice, and that's all the same passwords and stuff too. It should, unless the only ones that aren't, I think, are like if they make you have a different, a certain number of capitals or a certain. But I'm pretty sure all of our passwords and stuff are the same, which I know they always tell you not to do. But so I don't know how else to do it. Unless I guess you can have like the password saving thing, but
it's a little bit harder when you're sharing it with other people too.
Yeah, it's just like who cares? If somebody, I guess I don't know what they could steal from us. I guess they could steal something, but
yeah.
I am feeling good about going through my games too and looking at the stuff I want to get rid of.
I saw you post that on Discord. I was working, so I didn't really get a chance to jump into the chat, but I saw, Kevin put a little list, and there's some retro games on there like DuckTales 2 and things.
Those are, well, that's just the chopping block in the sense of like, I want to like sit there and be like, is this worth not selling for $200 or whatever the heck it's worth? And like, do I really need to own this? And I very well may, because I might be like, hey, it might go up in value. It might, but and a lot of those are on the list too, to just be like, I've literally never put this cartridge in ever. And if it's worth that much money and I'm literally never going to touch it, like I better at least play it and be like, oh, that's a pretty cool game, and decide I want to keep it, as opposed to just letting it sit there and be like, I own DuckTales 2.
Yep.
Look at me. It's like,
what are you trying to say, Kevin?
Well, I no. I just like, I've just kind of, I've gotten away from the collecting a little bit. Like,
I know,
I've gotten into the, like, I just want to have the cream of the crop, for my cream of the crop, so that people can look through my collection and be like, oh, those games? Okay.
Yep.
Like,
yep.
Hey,
I
you might
agree
be
with
missing.
you.
You might be missing Metroid. Like, I don't need to own Metroid on NES, I don't think.
No.
I'm never going to play it. I don't even like it.
No, and if you were to play that, you would play the Zero Mission, which is the better version, the remade version of that game.
Right. And that's where I've gotten away from too. Like, I used to be like, I want to have all the versions of a game, like the original, the whatever. But now I'm just like, hey, if I have, for example, like I had, like, I just for nostalgic purposes, I was like, I'm going to keep Tony Hawk and Tony Hawk 2 on PlayStation.
Right.
But like, now that the HD version is out and I'm going to buy it eventually, it's like, why? If I can get $10 for each one or whatever they're worth, I don't care. Like,
yeah, I think, in cases like that, especially, like,
there's
the new version
games,
is the way you should play that at this point.
Yeah, or even like Wind Waker, for example. Like, it's like, if I can get $70 for the GameCube version, which is what I think it went for, or what it goes for, ish. Like, even if I get 50 for it.
Yep.
And I'm only gonna play the Wii U version. So
that's the one I played and beat, and I was happy to do so. Yeah.
So I just feel like I'm shifting I'm thinking of moving back to Michigan. I'm selling all my retro games. I don't know what I'm doing anymore these days, but. No, there's definitely the actual list of like what I'm definitely going to sell is, to me, seem like they're pretty much I'm like, why do I even own this? But like even like I have Super Bomberman and Super Bomberman 2. I kind of want to just like see which one's better of the two of those. Yeah. And then just be like, this is the one that has multiplayer, because I think one of them doesn't. And just be like, okay,
that
this is the one
sacrilegious.
I'm pretty sure one of them does not.
What?
I'm pretty sure, I want to say Super Bomberman does not, and Super Bomberman 2 does.
What a joke.
Yeah. How can you have Bomberman without multiplayer? I could be wrong about that.
Loose prices, actually, it looks like Super Bomberman is worth
a ton
more money than Super Bomberman 2.
Then they're worth a decent amount, right? Like 100 something?
Super Bomberman loose is $48.41. Super Bomberman 2 loose is $28.71.
Okay, not as much as I was thinking, but still.
But 2, I bet, is more likely to have the multiplayer.
I want to say that that's how it was, but like for example, like I'm gonna keep Pocky and Rocky. Like, that game's probably worth a bunch, but like I don't care.
So
like, I love that game.
Yep.
Like, I want to keep the co-op games that I'm gonna bust out and have fun with, or like I'll probably keep, to be honest, like Roger Clemens MVP baseball, because like I'm gonna get $1 for it at best.
Yep.
And I'd rather just have it and play it maybe one more time and just be like, remember this game?
Yeah, you probably have nostalgia for it, and this nostalgia you have and the cartridge is worth more than the $1 you would get for it.
Exactly. So I kind of want to, I think it'd be fun to do like a series where it's just like, hey, I'm going to play these games and check them out and decide if I want to keep them in my collection or not.
Maybe
and
run some of those things past your old pal Randall if you decide to get.
I told everybody in the Zandan already sent me a list of I'd be interested in this.
Get out of here, Zandan.
I was like, hey, everybody. I was like, we'll have first dibs in here. First dibs here. I'm not going to sell anything, but yeah, I'll let you know, of course, first before
I know Zandan's
goes
a big
on the
collector
market
too, though. They're always posting their new extremely expensive games.
I don't know where they get their money from, but.
Rule of Rose, I saw that. I'm like, that game is a fortune. It's
like $500.
Yes.
And they bought it at a store. They didn't buy it at on eBay. They went to their local game shop and picked it up.
Wow.
So you're paying top dollar plus.
Which is supposed to be a cool game,
point.
but yeah, that's a $547 game.
I think she said that they paid about $500. I want to say. I can't do that anymore. I don't have it in me. If I didn't already own Earthbound, I'd never own Earthbound.
Yeah, I don't own Earthbound, and I can't say that I could quite pull that off. I'd probably do that for there's a couple of Sega CD games. I do that for Snatcher, and I do that for Keo Flying Squadron. A couple of games that never got released anywhere else to this day.
Yeah. There are cool, there is an aspect of collecting, but I'm going to do the same thing with my Criterion movies. I'm actually going to go through them all and watch them because I bought them all half off. I can probably get $15 to $20 for most of them, and some of them are out of print and they're worth a fortune.
Right.
So I'm just going to go through because I have watched a handful. Sell those?
eBay? Is there a Discogs equivalent for movies?
I don't know. Other than eBay or Amazon, I don't know. But there might be. But I don't think Letterboxd has anything like that. But yeah, I'm just I've definitely watched a decent handful that are decent percentage of them that I'm that movie, why is that in the Criterion collection? You know, I'm never going to watch it again. What's
the rewatchability of some of these movies?
Right. I want somebody to skim my collection and be ooh, nice. Oh, that's cool. Or, oh, I haven't heard of that. And actually me be not be oh, I haven't seen that one. No, I just bought it because it looked cool. You know, let me actually watch them and be oh yeah, this is this would be sweet. Let's watch it. You know, instead of I don't know. I just want to.
No, I'm with you. I'm about to I feel like I'm about to be like a butterfly opening its wings of I spent all of this time basically since really I just never got rid of anything. But basically actively collected from high school until 30-ish. And now it's oh, I'm done with school. I kind of know what my job is. Maybe it's time to actually play some of these things finally.
Yeah. That's a great feeling, man.
Yeah.
It really is. Even feeling just feeling you have time and knowing it'll take an adjustment, I'm sure, to just be man, I don't you feel you're, at least for me, I would get anxious and be I'm forgetting to do something. There must be something I have to do right now.
Oh yeah.
And then you're just there's no homework. There's no,
right.
You know, if it's not work related or family related, I'm good.
Yep. Yeah.
So
honestly, it's a weird place to be in.
But a good place.
Yeah, I think so. It's still a brand new feeling, but I think so, yeah.
And how long has it been? About a month since you finished up?
I passed my last test on not even a month. It was August 7th.
Okay.
So almost 2 weeks.
Yeah, almost not even 2 weeks. Yeah. That's awesome.
But then in that time, I'm I had been playing Metroid Fusion in the background because we had went on some vacations and I'd brought my Game Boy Advance, which that was fun. I don't want to get too much into that because I'm going to tell that on the podcast when John's back on too. But it's cool to casually play that and beat that as soon as I was done with school and beat Ori. And I'm a quarter of the way through the other Ori. So.
Oh, dang. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Plowing.
Yeah.
I haven't really played a ton since I got back. I'm hoping this will kind of get me back in the groove of last night I was going to try to record some videos and I ended up I was taking care of stuff just straightening up around my apartment. And I was you know what, tomorrow I want to get up early and get all this stuff I need for my car. My air conditioning hasn't been working, so I got the recharge kit for that. So far, so good. but the last time I bought one, it worked for a while and then stopped working. So this one had like supposed to seal the leaks or whatever, but we'll see if it lasts. But there's still some left in the can.
You've had that car for a while.
It's a 2010, 2010 Golf. My parents act like it's like this piece of shit though. Like, I mean, it's not in the worst, or I mean, it's not in the best shape. Like, there's a big ding from the one accident I got in, and like
you're gonna have dings from living in the city though. That's how it
exactly.
goes.
And it's more than a ding. Like, it's crushed kind of on the side because I hit this pole. Like, I was like pulling out at work and I turned the wheel. I forgot there was this light pole that I was parked right next to, and I was like saying bye to all the people that were like hanging out outside smoking or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, see you guys." And I turned the opposite way that I should have and hit the thing. I was like, "Oh, god damn it." But like, it's just cosmetic. I don't give a shit. Like, I was like, my parents were like, "Oh," I was like, that's why I don't lease a car. I bought my car, so I just don't, especially in the city. I'd be having a panic attack every day. I'd be like, "Oh, look at this new scratch. Look at this new," and
also leasing a car makes 0 sense anyway.
I know. You want to have a car payment for life?
No.
Man, I don't get it. Yeah, they act like it's so like the way to do it. I'm like, you guys are crazy, man.
It's not
like,
the way to do it.
It feels so good. Like, even though my car is like, I just paid it off like within the last 6 months, and I don't know how much more life it's got left in it. You know, it's only got 110,000 miles,
but
like,
too bad.
It's not terrible. But like, I also haven't I've taken decent care of it, but I'm not like, I haven't babied it and really taken care of it the whole time. So it's seen better days, but like when I was like, I probably got to fix a few things before I could qualify to be a Lyft driver.
Probably, yes.
Yeah. But like, there's this like weird electronic, like it says like I need to fill my wiper fluid, even though I have plenty in there. Like, I topped it off, and it's like, it's just like weird electronic sense. Exactly. Yeah. And it's like, I don't want to pay for that. I don't care.
Yeah.
You know? So
probably won't be too expensive, but yeah, it's still another thing.
Yeah, it's just like I want to do like a bunch at once, you know. It's like, it's just not worth it to be like, I know when I have wiper fluid, I always have a jug in the car, so even if I run out and I don't know, I can fill it up as soon as I stop the car. So you know, it's just like, but then when you're like, "Oh, I'm actually going to try to use my car to make some money," you're like, "Oh shit, like I gotta fix a few things. I gotta throw out all this garbage in the back seat." And
other people I don't know are going to spend time in this car. Dang it.
Exactly. And I don't know for sure that I'm going to do that, but I just want to potentially have that option to even like, oh, I'm in a pinch, like I can even like work a couple days a week and just make a few extra bucks, even if it's not paying all the bills. It's like I'm still not killing all, just going straight into my savings. But
right, exactly. Yeah. Especially because the stipend stuff is over now these days, so that's yeah.
So the other games I had that I was going to talk about, I was actually just going to talk about like gaming with my cousins back home, my little cousins. Like, I played a little bit of the Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, and I guess it's kind of timely with the Olympics, even though this will come out in a handful of weeks.
Oh, we could riff on that as like a conversation topic for a while. That sort of stuff.
And I kind of like, because I might even just mention, like, since you're back for the first time in a while, like we haven't recorded in a while, I might just mention like, hey, we had to bulk up before this wedding. Yeah. And now we're kind of, we're a little rusty, getting back in the groove. But yeah, I played that, and then I played this Disney Sum game. Do you know what those Sums or Sum things? I'll save it for the podcast.
Save it.
But yeah, it's like a very Mario Party-esque game without the board game aspect, just mini games. So, but that was actually like surprisingly fun. So I was like, I kind of want to give that game a shout out.
So I just have Ori, but do you think I need to pull something else out? I guess with that other conversation thing, I think we could really make some hay out of that.
and 2D and Top D too.
Yeah.
Because we've been shooting lately for like 30 to 45 minutes. I've weaned off my like 45. It's got to be 45 minimum.
Yeah.
I've just been like, okay, especially with like the save it for the cast. Sometimes those are like 20 minutes, and feels kind of good to be like, most of the feedback we've gotten is like 30 to 45 is perfect.
I love that of other podcasts and our like now I'm listening to Pursuing Pixels as someone that's not on the podcast, and I like that still.
Yeah, that's what Matt Glanville was saying too. Like he was like, it's perfect. Like pretty much I can take my dog for a walk, and finish the podcast. Like, he's like, I can like pretty much like do it when I'm doing my whatever. Like he is really cool. Like we'll definitely have to like get him in and just like hang sometime.
Yeah.
Or maybe even if like, maybe he'll come on again, like, because I might just like mention Dungeon Death Ball briefly just to say like we'll talk about it eventually because DJ's going nuts on that game.
Yeah.
But just mention that he's going to be on soon, and like maybe he'll come on like when we talk about that game too. Like, hey, why don't you come on and let DJ talk a little shit about how good he is? He literally beat it on the first try. I'm like, get out of here, man.
Of course.
He came over and he was like, I was like, you got to check out this game. He's like, do you mind if I keep playing? This is sweet. And I was just like, he put in like 14 hours over the course of like 2 days.
Damn.
Went nuts. He got I don't know if you saw, he has the number one score like by a lot. Like everybody was like, he got like a perfect game. Like you can't get a higher score than that. And DJ's like, no, you can get an S rank on every level. I got to get an S. Like
King
Jesus
of Kong
Christ,
over here.
Man. I know, man. I'm like, Jesus, you play one time, and he's like, oh, I can break that record. But that game is sick too. I really, really recommend that game. I think you would really like it.
Okay.
It's got like the Matt Glanville sensibility of like the arcadey pick up and play quickness.
What's the name of it?
Dungeon Death Ball. It's in our Steam. And then it's kind of like Into the Breach style tactics, but like light Into the Breach light, but like it's good. It's really good shit. It's like, it's a great game. I told him, I was like, the only reason I haven't checked it out yet is because it's early access, but it's like really polished. Or like he was like, I'd really like to send it to you guys. He's like, I'd really like to send it because I want to do a final like pass of polish before I leave early access. He's like, and I'd love your guys' opinion. I think this is the one we got a key. Everybody got a key for this one, I think, actually. Because he was like, I want you all in case you chase the leaderboards.
Okay.
But it's awesome. It's a really cool game.
I love that art style too.
Yeah, that like pseudo 3D.
That's sweet.
Yeah, he's so good.
All right, yeah, I can commit to playing that.
Even just like taking a peek at it or something. Yeah, because I know DJ is planning on talking about it whenever he's on next.
Sure.
Because I've been saving that one for a minute.
I know. I was listening to the old episode where we talked about Ori before, and I'm like, I miss talking to DJ. It's been a long time since I've talked to DJ.
Yeah, he's been busy lately. I haven't talked to him in a while either, other than texting him. Yeah, like he texted me actually. He was like, "Sorry, I've been so busy lately, man. I like not trying to avoid the podcast stuff." And I was like, "Dude, don't sweat it, man." What were your other things, like, in case we do need to pull something out? But like, I know, for example, like I know John's been playing a bunch of Tony Hawk 1 and 2, so like we'll have that when he comes on. Yeah, he's been playing a ton of shit. He's been playing Genshin Impact.
Yeah, he's been talking about that quite a bit,
like that all the time. And then he's playing, I don't know, I saw him playing a ton of different shit last time I logged on Switch. And I've
not been on Switch at like all.
I really haven't much really either. Like I've played a few things, but not much.
No, the main things, it's like I got this. I don't want to. I don't know. I don't know if I want to spoil it.
Spoil it. Speaking of spoil it, I saw this. I don't know if it was a Miata, some shitty little car. Nothing against Miatas. They're actually pretty cool. Yeah, but it wasn't. I don't think it was a Miata. But it was like even smaller than that, with this huge spoiler on the back when I was driving home.
The biggest one possible.
Back, like definitely added to the car separately, and it was just like black instead. The whole car was red. And it's just like, what the hell is the point? Unless that thing is literally keeping your car on the ground.
Yeah. Why?
Get the hell out of here. Like, I couldn't believe it. I wanted to run them off the road.
I'll just never be a person that has to express their personality through their vehicle. It's just not me.
Ever. I even saw like the earlier, like I saw when I was driving home too, I saw like a bunch, there was just like this really like kind of striking blue car. I saw like 3 of them that were this blue color that was like just really cool. Like I was like, man, that is sweet. And then I was like, I wonder if that's like a custom paint job.
Yeah.
And then I was like, what a waste of money if it is like to like actually pay to get like a separate paint job. Like what a waste of money. But I guess if you make $130,000 a year, you don't know what to do with your money.
There's some people that we worked with at Best Buy that would spend their money on things like that.
Right.
So.
That's super true. Yeah.
Yep.
Super true.
The other game that I could talk about, but I guess I would prefer to potentially save it because I don't I'm not prepared as much as I'd normally like to be. Is one of them is Dungeons and Dragons Chronicles of Mystara, which is a beat 'em up collection.
Ooh, yeah.
It's really, really good.
Those games always looked awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great. And for the longest time, they were only available on like Sega Saturn.
Right.
And then
I didn't even know they were on that.
PS3.
I thought they were arcade only. Yeah.
Yeah. So and they are excellent